Welcome to Coding with Tom. Today we're going to be adding a UI search controller instead of the UI search that we had in our SwiftUI application. And we're also going to do a little bit of code cleanup. One thing that you may have noticed from our previous implementation is that our categories view is so complex right now that the compiler is having a hard time and the autocomplete is gone. It makes a terrible experience for the programmer. So what we're going to do is just divide this view into subviews so that it's easier to work with them, and yeah, Xcode has a better time. The first thing that we're going to do is move the list to another view, and that will remove a huge portion. So we're going to create the categories list. The list is just going to have the same variables as the view, only that now the variables that were used to be state are now binding, and the view model stays the same. Now that we have extracted the list to another view, notice how Xcode performance is much better for this file. However, if we go to our list, it's still too complex and the autocomplete still doesn't work as we are expecting. So next we are going to be extracting the restaurant row, which is the one that has more modifiers, and we're gonna add it to another view. Just like we did for our new categories list view, our restaurant item view has the same variables as its parent, and all of them are binding, or we don't even have to create a state for the restaurant and restaurant view model. So it's just simple parameters that we're gonna pass in the initializer. And that's as far as we can go regarding improving our views. From our last exercise, we included a UISearchBar in our view, but we're not getting the complete behavior that we get using UISearchController with UIKit. For that, we're gonna change our search bar view to use a UI search controller. First, let's remove this speaker since we are going to be using the scope tiles in the search controller. Our search bar needs to change from UI view representable to UI view controller representable. And then we're gonna have a wrapper search controller. You're gonna see why we're going to be needing this later on. The first major change is that now our search controller is not going to be the UI view representable. Instead, it's going to be inside our coordinator. And in our update view, what we're going to do is we're going to use the view controller that we're going to be passing here. And then we're going to get the navigation item of the parent of that view controller. And to that is that we're going to be inserting the search controller that's in the coordinator. Okay, now we have the search controller, although it's looking quite a bit ugly, and that's because we're inserting the view controller, the search controller as if it was a view. For that, we instead need to use overlay. Notice that we don't have a search bar, but as we scroll down, it appears like it happens with the search controller. When we type, we are filtering. And you'll notice that nothing is happening when we tap on cancel. That's because we need to implement correctly the search results updating delegate. And let's also add the scopes. And now we have our search controller embedded in the navigation view. And that was all for today. Although it was a little bit hacky, we were able to embed UISearchController in the navigation view using SwiftUI. And as you can see, after doing that, we get all of the behavior that is expected from the control, even with the scope tiles. That was all for today. Bye.